The night may be long and the dark may be deep, but the answers are there to be found. Whether it's the normal, the abnormal, or the paranormal, you're in the right place. Let's go beyond reality.
Good evening, good morning, welcome. It's a new week. It's Beyond Reality Radio. Welcome, everybody. It's great to have you along as we start a new week of programming here. I'm your host, JV Johnson, and we are going to be talking about numbers tonight. We have the numbers lady joining us. Glynis McCants will be with us. She's been on the program before. She is the numerologist to the stars. We're going to talk about numerology, and we're also going to do readings for you. So we will open up the phone lines a little bit later in the program, and when we do, you can call in, and Glynis will do a reading for you based on your numbers. And I think all she asks for is your first name and your birth date. I think it's the day and the month. I'm not exactly sure. She'll explain that to us when we get her on the program. I don't remember how it worked last time, but you're going to want to write down the phone number, 607-282-4497. Or if you need a toll-free number, it's 844-687-7669. Again, 607-282-4497. The toll-free number is 844-687-7669. I'm always excited about this. Glynis is great. She's a lot of fun. And the numerology thing just really, really astounds me. So we'll have a good time talking with her tonight. Hope you had a great weekend, by the way. Yeah, I ended up buying a new toy. I bought a new motorcycle. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just couldn't resist. So if you're a Harley rider, you know what I'm talking about. Hey, looking ahead on what we've got coming up on the show, tomorrow night, Daniel Friedman will be with us. He's a religion and mysticism researcher. He's also an engineer, and we're going to be looking at the Bible and comparing it to science and trying to determine whether or not the two can reconcile, because he says they can. He actually says the 6-day creation account from Genesis actually does link up and can be justified with the science version of creation, which is a 13.8 billion year timeline. So we're going to hear about that. Wednesday night, Cindy McGill, another returning guest, will be here. Cindy is a master dream interpreter. We're going to be talking about what dreams mean, and she will take callers and tell you specifically what your dreams mean. Everybody's had a dream that they just cannot figure out why they've had that dream and want to know what it means. So Cindy will be around Wednesday night to talk about that. And then Thursday, Dr. Peter Langdon Ward. He is a geophysicist. He's going to be talking about alternative theories about global warming. I've heard him talk about this. It's pretty interesting stuff. It goes kind of against what the I don't know how to even say this, because not the scientific community is certainly not in agreement completely. But most of those who talk about this say it's a carbon dioxide, it's a greenhouse gas problem, and Dr. Peter Langdon Ward said no, they're missing the real cause here, and if they don't change the way they think about this, we won't be able to fix it or at least mitigate it in any in some fashion. So that's Thursday night's program. So you can see we've got a lot of stuff coming up. It's going to be a great week of programs here on Beyond Reality Radio. Swing by the Facebook page at Beyond Reality Radio. Also, my Facebook page, JV Johnson. I would really appreciate it if you would like that page. And then go to YouTube and subscribe to the JV Johnson YouTube page. And once you're there, you'll see a whole backlog of back programs. Plus, we stream the show live. So if you can't get the show on a radio station near you, then that's another option to get the show live right on YouTube. Again, go to YouTube and just search for JV Johnson. So a lot of great stuff coming up. I'm not going to waste any more time. Remember, we will take your phone calls a little bit later in the program. I will let you know when it's time. And the number is 607-282-4497 for readings or questions with the numbers lady, Glynis McCants. If you need a toll-free number, it's 844-687-7669. It's Beyond Reality Radio. Hey, it's JV here. You know I've asked for your support in the past, and I'm going to do it again because it's really, really important. And there are a couple of ways you can support the show, and it's so inexpensive. Now, you can go to Patreon, and you can become a Patreon supporter, and we really, really encourage that. But there's also another way. If you look at the description of the podcast, if you're a podcast listener, and you scroll down to the bottom, there's a way to support the show directly through the podcast app.
app, and it's only 99 cents a month. It's less than $1. You probably have that change in your couch right now. That $1 a month, less than $1, goes a long way in helping us produce this program, provide great interviews for you during the course of the week. I thank you in advance because the support is so important to the program.
The phone number is 607-282-4497, or if you prefer a toll-free number, it's 844-687-7669. I don't know that anybody needs toll-free numbers anymore in the age of cell phones. I don't think anything's a long-distance call. Anyway, as promised, our guest tonight is a returning guest, and we're really, really excited to have her back. Glynis McCants is known as the Numbers Lady. Her website is GlynisHasYourNumber.com. She's got a couple of books to her credit, including Glynis Has Your Number and Love by the Number. Glynis, welcome back to Beyond Reality Radio.
Hello, it's good to be back.
It's really great to have you here again. What have you been? I think it's been at least a year. Gosh, close
I
anyway,
know.
Right?
And that's crazy, right? But you guys are always so busy. What I've been doing is a lot of numerology workshops. I actually do a lot of corporate counseling where I help businesses do better. You know, when they're toxic numbers, I teach them how to get along, and it's been really powerful.
So let me ask you this then. If you're working with a business from a numerological perspective, that's a tough
word.
one. Are you looking at their, sales numbers and those numbers?
No, here's how it works. Numerology itself is a science of numbers. What I use is the Pythagorean number system. Mm-hmm. And what happens is when you look at someone's name and full date of birth, you get 3 numbers from the name, 3 numbers from the birthday, and that's called a numerology blueprint of who they are. And when I do this, I'm able to do a chart comparison. So you can be compatible to someone, or you can be challenged by them. And when I find, let's say it's a president of a company and the VP, and they're just having trouble, there's a reason, and I'm able to look at it. Look at the blueprints, tell them, hey, you're in a personal year cycle that's in conflict, and I advise them how to get along. And it has been remarkable how it transforms an office and a company.
I mean, a company is nothing more generally than a lot of people trying to work together. And if they can't work together, then that's going to create conflict.
Absolutely true. And it can also destroy the company. I mean, you hear this all the time where someone's like, look, I was partners with this guy, and he cleared out the bank account. He took off with the money. Yeah. Well, I promise you that's a toxic number for the person telling me that story. And I help you know, hey, if you have 1 or 2 numbers out of 6 where you guys get along, it means you can agree to disagree, like 2 challenges. If you have 3, you're always going to have to work hard on it. But if you have 4 challenge numbers out of 6, I say it's not worth it. Because the breakdown in communication happens so much, it becomes draining to go to work. You don't want to go to work.
Right. It's a toxic environment. Now,
exactly.
People will all use different markers and cues when they meet somebody. You know, when I meet somebody, I look at their eyes and kind of judge. I guess I get an idea of what kind of person they are based on their eyes. I'm not always right. But I do make a judgment. Do you make a judgment based on the numbers? Is that how? I mean, you need some information to be able to do that. But is that what it is for you? Is that how you look at people?
Well, I'll tell you what's really interesting at this stage of doing this, because I've done it over 27 years. This is my research. I live and eat and breathe it. When there's a story in the news and I read this person's personality, I say to myself, oh my gosh, that person has to be a 5. Oh, they have to be born on a 2-day. And then boom, I'll go check on Google, and sure enough, they're a 5 life path born on a 2-day. So it's become very psychic that way for me. Like I just know who they are by the numbers, but that's because I've studied it so long. And for the people listening today, the reason I wrote those books was to simplify it so they could use it and get a sense of who's in their life, right? Who's compatible, who's a challenge, and how do you get along better, especially if you're married with kids and you're trying to make the marriage work. This is a great tool to heal the relationship.
So let's back up a little bit, because it's been a while since you've been on the program.
Yes.
The show has grown. We're on more radio stations than we were back then. We've got new listeners.
Yes.
If they're not familiar with your work, first of all, tell us how you got interested in this to begin with.
Okay. Well, let me say to them that numerology itself, it's 2,500 years old, and Pythagoras is the creator of the system. People know that name through geometry,
sure,
right? The Pythagorean theorem. Well, the belief is that everything in this universe has vibration. And that means even when you walk into a home or a building, you can feel it. Like, ooh, I like this place or I don't. But my specialty is with people. So when you have 3 numbers from someone's name, when you use the formula that Pythagoras created, and then 3 numbers from the birthday, you get this blueprint that tells you the story. And how did I get involved? First, love. I was 19. My heart was broken. I went to see this woman. They told me she was a psychic, but she was actually a numerologist. And when she ran the numbers, she said, "You're not missing him, honey. He was toxic to you. You miss his mother and his sister because they were compatible to you." And she was dead right. I mean, I was best friends with that mom and the sister. And when I knew that, I was out of pain. Like I was over him. And when I got married, by the way, the mother was there. His mother came to my wedding. So I'm friends with them to this day. And that's when I knew this mattered, that the science of numbers was important. And then for 13 years, I did my own research, had unique conclusions, and wrote my book, Glynis Has Your Number. So that's how it began.
Yeah, so this numerologist was able to demonstrate to you where your attachments were based on the numbers, and that allowed you to let go of what you thought was the problem, which wasn't the problem at all. You didn't miss him.
Correct. I thought I was in tremendous pain over the loss of him, but it wasn't. It was the loss of them. And so that means, like, you can walk into a home, let's say the mother and sister were there, and I was giving him credit for this great feeling. I'm like, oh, gosh, I love it here. But it really wasn't him.
And when you talk about the origins of numerology.
Yes.
And so give us a basic rundown of what the formula is, how it works, and how it's been effective for 2,500 years.
Yeah, right. I would say, in answer to your question, being a researcher of the science of numbers, I do think when you have breakthroughs, you should contribute that information. Otherwise, it goes away, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 2,500 years ago was a long time.
Yes.
And yet, for me personally, when I went on this crusade of changing lives, I ended up being a regular on Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, The Talk. I mainstreamed a science of numbers that felt to people who didn't know it, they're like, oh, that's the occult, and they weren't interested. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't work, because the truth is, here's how it goes. The most important number is your life path. And I have your birthday, so your life path I have in front of me.
Uh-oh.
Yes. And then I want to confirm, you were born 6/25?
That's correct, yes.
So aren't we just about to have a birthday?
Well, on the East Coast, we are having a birthday.
Aw, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let me tell you, when you're born a 7 life path, that's when you take a full date of birth and reduce it to 1 digit. 7 is the inquisitor. You are the guy who says, who am I? What am I? Why am I here? Like, your brain does that all the time. And you might be in conversation with one person, but you're picking up everything around you. Like, you just don't miss it. In numerology, you'd also be an amazing detective, because sneaking in, sneaking out, you can do that. And when it comes to people, you are so particular. When someone invades your space or tries to be your buddy when you're not ready, that doesn't work for you.
Wow.
You really have to be sincere in enjoying someone's company to invite them in. And that's just your life path.
I think that hits the nail right on the head. I will say this, though: I walk into the kitchen and I don't know why I'm there. So that's just age.
You want to know what that really is, honestly?
What?
The numbers 1, 5, and 7. They're called the mind numbers. They're the ones who never stop thinking. Well, if you have too much going on, you're going to lose your train of thought. So you really will end up in a room going, "What the heck am I doing in here? And by the way, how did I even get in here?" Because you're wandering up there. So here's the other thing you do. Like, when I advise people, a 7, nature's beauty is your buddy. So ocean, mountains, plants, flowers, all of that should have a calming effect on you. And if you can get out of your regular environment to take in that, that's extremely important. Are you able to do that?
I try.
If you're not able to take those trips, you got to. Like, tell me where, in a wish list, where would you go if you could?
Oh boy, I'll tell you where I am going. I'm headed to I'm headed to Gettysburg in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, my buddy and I are motorcycle riders, and there's a big bike rally down there, so we're going to go down and hang out in Gettysburg for 4 days.
Okay, number one, that's fantastic, but here's the other thing you brought up. 1, 5, 7, those are movement numbers. So if they're on the road, they're happy. The fact that you're on a motorcycle is so perfect. You've got your own thing, right? It's just you. And you're going to have a blast doing that, but that's a perfect time out. That's the other thing I want to say, though. In your regular home environment, you need private space in that house. So I don't know who's in the house with you, but they got to leave you alone when you need to regroup. If you don't get that alone time, you go nuts.
It's absolutely right. And in fact, I have 3 rooms in the house that I shut myself off from everything and everyone, and that's kind of where I live my life.
But you have to. I mean, and what I teach, let's say that was a problem. Are you married, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, so if I were counseling your wife, I'd say, hey, when he needs alone time, that's not personal. He's not shutting you down. He's got to do it to regroup. He has to decompress. If you don't let him do that, he's still going to go quiet. Like, there's times you will shut down, JB. You're not going to always say what's on your mind, yet you're also really direct. If you feel pushed against the wall, I say it's your mouth can be a lethal weapon. I've yet to hear the stuff you say, but I would love to witness it if you were fed up with someone.
Wow.
Because you're a truth teller. That's you.
Wow. That is amazing. I mean, I don't often feel overwhelmed when somebody reads my personality back to me based on something like this, but you really hit it right on the head. This stuff works, doesn't it?
Oh, it is phenomenal. And the reason I wrote the next book, Love by the Numbers, I had picked my husband, Charlie, who I've been with 17 years now, and he's my best friend. And I did it through numerology, and then I put it in a book to help people do the same.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to bring Orion out of the call screening box, and we're going to let you do the same thing with Orion's numbers. How's that sound?
Wonderful.
And then in a little while, we will take your listener calls, and we'll do readings for listeners as well. The number is 607-282-4497 or toll-free 844-687-7669. It's Beyond Reality Radio. Our guest tonight, Glynis McCants, the numbers lady. Glynis's website is glynishasyyournumber.com. Her books include Glynis Has Your Number and Love by the Numbers. And before we get to Orion's reading, Glynis, what's on the website? A lot of stuff there, right?
Oh, yeah. If they go to numberslady.com, they can click on a link called Numbers, and literally they're able to look up their life path number, their attitude number. I talk about the master numbers, and I also talk about this particular month is really powerful because the each day energy repeats itself. So, example, you were born the 25th, which is a 7, but the whole date reduced to 1 digit is also a 7. Mm-hmm. The next day, it's an 8, and it adds up to an 8. So it goes like this, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9. So I tell everybody out there, their life path number, the best days to schedule things that matter, the most important. That, and they can take advantage of that. And that's all sitting at numberslady.com.
Okay, so I've been saying glynishasyyournumber.com, which is also your website, but the numberslady.com is the same site, goes to the same place?
That is correct, but it's not the Numbers Lady. An accountant took that years ago. It's just numberslady.com.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Numberslady.com.
And people name me that, because Glynis Has Your Number was my site, but people couldn't spell that name Glynis.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, where's the Numbers Lady? And finally I thought, numberslady.com. We'll do that.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So
we've
got Orion sitting here. Now, Orion is relatively new to the group here. He joined us, a couple months ago, right, Orion?
3 months or so?
3 months, yeah. So welcome, anyway. We don't have him out here on the mic very often, but I know you've got his birth date, I believe, right?
I do.
Okay, let's talk about Orion a little bit.
Okay, so Orion, here's what I would say. Technically, when you take the whole birthday, he's a 6 life path. And Orion, that just means if they leave you alone, like you learn the skill and they're like, hey, buddy, you're doing a great job, you will give 150%.
That's me.
But when you're working, if they get in your space or become too critical, that's not comfortable for you because you want to do a good job. But I have a feeling you're already picking that up about him, JV,
that
he's responsible.
Absolutely.
That has to be true. And then born on the 20th tells me you are really intuitive. So when you meet someone, you pretty much feel it out. It's like, okay, I like this person, or you meet someone and say, okay, this is going to be difficult, but I'll try to find a way. See, when you're born on a 2-day, you try to be the peacemaker, mediator, not looking for conflict. He's not looking for trouble, and he's quick to laugh. So if someone's sarcastic and funny, he'll crack up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there are very few people I don't like flat out. I always can find something in common.
That's right. And that comes from being born the 20th. That is someone who really wants to get along with people and likes to wonder kind of what makes them tick. Mm-hmm. That's your gift. And the other thing about you, you've got 911 from your name. That means who do they call for help? When things are screwed up, you're kind of at your best. Damage control. That's in your numbers as well.
Okay.
So let me ask you this, because I know you used my name too, but how does the name play into the numbers versus the birth date?
Okay, so the Pythagorean number system, A is 1, B is 2, and then when you get all the way down to Z, Z is 26, but 2 plus 6 is 8. So it's just literally using his letter number system, okay? Mm-hmm. So when I break things down, I will take the vowels and add them straight across, and that gives me the soul number, tells me what's kind of going on inside you, what fulfills your soul. And then below are consonants. When I add them across, it's the personality number, so it's a part of your personality. And then when I add those two together, it's called the power name number. So I will say this about you, JV. You don't mind working hard. Where's your paycheck?
That's a great question.
Well, that's your 988.
Wow.
That's coming from your name. You know, your 7 is kind of simple. It's like, look, I don't need a lot. But your 988 from your name is like, hey, I don't mind working hard, but I got to have some compensation to make sure I have security down the line. That's where it comes from.
Wow.
It also tells me that when things happen out there, like when you see an injustice, you definitely have an opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually call the 8 the politician number. And what I mean by that, not when people try to act like everyone's crooked, because let's be honest, they're not all crooked. You start out by saying, I want to fix this mess. I can't stand what's happening. The other one who can do it, you have a gift of not forgetting some important details, like that A plus B must equal C. That comes from 988. So if someone does you wrong, JV, you pretty much need to let them go. You know, you can be nice about it, but say, you know, I'm not going to forget what happened here.
That's it, Glynis. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry you made that choice, because you're about integrity. Even if someone had bad news for you, you're fine as long as they tell you. It's when it happens behind your back. No way.
Yeah. Wow, that's perfect. Okay, so let's do this, because I know we've got a lot of people that are getting anxious to talk to you. We've got to send Orion back into the call screening booth. So let's take a break right now. We'll open up the phone lines so people can start getting in on the lines here, and then we'll start taking calls. How's that sound?
It sounds good to me.
Glynis, can you really, really find your soulmate through numerology?
Right now, I have over 5,000 people who have found love through that book, Love by the Numbers.
Wow.
That's documented. People who have literally written me, said I use your formula, because I do have a formula in there. And I met a great guy, or I met a great girl. The thing that I cover in there, picking a perfect wedding date also matters. You can pick a day that's a disaster. You can actually pick a bad wedding day. So I help you not do that. And also, if you're going to have a baby, I help you pick the best baby name for your family to ensure compatibility. So this is about living your life by the numbers in a way that you can dodge some of the bullets we come up against. It's awesome.
It is awesome. Let's go to the phone lines here. We've got a lot of people waiting on hold already. Let's go to this is Eva in Kansas. Hey, Eva, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Before we get going here, let's just let everybody know, what do you need from them, Glynis?
What I need is Eva's first name and then the full date of birth. And what I call this is fast food numerology. Obviously, it's not the layout of everything, but it absolutely tells us a lot about Eva, and she'll appreciate that. And if it's a relationship, they can also give their partner's name and their date of birth, and I can look at the compatibility of that relationship.
And one more thing I'll say before we take Eva here is make sure you've turned down your radio or whatever you're listening to the show on so we don't get any feedback there. So let's go to Eva in Kansas. Hey, Eva.
And if it's a relationship, they can...
Eva, I need you to I'm going to put you on hold. Please turn down whatever you're listening on. Let's go to Ann in South Carolina. Hey, Ann.
Hello.
Ann, what's your birth date?
June 1144.
Okay, so did you say June 11th?
Yes.
Okay, so June 11, 1944. So
Right.
Let's see, 2898. Okay, so the first thing I tell you, when you're born the 11th or the 22nd, it's a master number, and that means you have high standards. Like you feel called to make a difference. And if anything, when it comes to your life, if you think you came up a little short, let's say you've done a project and it went really well, but one thing goes wrong, your mind picks on you. It's like, I can't believe that happened. How true has that been for you?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. And so here's the other thing. Because you're an 8 life path, I know for a fact you can be very nice, but when you're upset, you are a lethal weapon because you're honest. You tell the truth. You are confrontive. and you don't like someone who's playing games with you, and they know it. But I think what happens, since you do have this 2 energy, when it's all said and done, you feel bad. If it's someone you care about and they misinterpret you, it can hurt your feelings. How true has that been in your life?
I'm kind of hesitant to confront, but I really would love to.
But when you do, when you feel you have no choice, what happens?
Yeah, I probably let it all out.
Of course you do. I love her. She's so cute. You know, Glynis, I don't always bring a sharp knife. Sometimes. But sometimes I do have a sharpener, Glynis, in the other room. Yeah, but here's the thing, Anne. What I suggest you do, like as a counselor of numbers, I would say when you're feeling down, the best thing you do is put on music that makes you happy or watch a video that makes you laugh so that you can get in a good mood again. And the other caution I have, physical health. How's your health been throughout your life?
I'm looking at surgery July 8th.
Okay, now, did you notice she said it's an 8-day, JV?
Yeah.
She said July 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I created a calendar on my website, and what I did is help you pick the best dates for surgery. I mean, that was truly my inspiration, because you need to pick a day that's going to go well for you. You don't need any surprises, right, Ann?
No.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, I literally have it where it's like a sunny day symbol when it's a good day for you to schedule surgery or anything else that's important. I have a caution day when it's not ideal. If you type, because I'll just give you the promo code I made for that, type love numbers, and you should get a discount on that. You should get the email one, and it's inexpensive. It's like $16.95, but you're going to get all your best dates. Just want to make sure that's a good day for you to do it, Ann.
Okay, yeah.
And you know what else? I want JV to know this. I get letters every week of people saying, I used the calendar. I picked a good day for my knee surgery. Doctor said it would take at least 6 weeks to heal. It took 2 weeks. Like they're out of pain in 2 weeks.
Wow. So
it's really great.
It really makes a difference.
Go.
Yeah, it really makes a difference. And thank you so much for the phone call. Let's go back to Eva in Kansas. Hey, Eva, hope this is better. Are you there?
Hi.
I think that sounds better.
Here.
Yeah, okay. What's your birth date?
7/31/37.
And Eva, did you want to know about your partner? It sounded like you said that.
No, I don't have a partner, so
that'll slow you
what
down,
about
huh? Me? Oh, my goodness, JV. Coffee is needed tonight. All right, Eva, here's what I would tell you. You're a double 4 in numerology. That means what you see is what you get. The 4, once they learn a skill, they're able to show others. It's not uncommon for the 4 to become a teacher of some kind. So I just want to know, what did you pick for work?
Storekeeper. I've been an entrepreneur, so I have been busy all my life.
Right, but tell me about the entrepreneurial part of you. Like, what did that entail? What did you end up doing with that?
Rocks, minerals, readings, spirituality.
Okay, I love the reading idea, so let's go back to that. You have a 2 attitude, which is naturally intuitive. That's the one that knows the truth, and you need to trust it, because if you don't trust it, it will fail you. And when you have double 4, there is an inner voice that says, if I can't do it perfectly, I don't want to do it. You're always afraid of just coming up short. But I'm saying you have a natural gift when it comes to reading and helping others.
That's what I do.
That's what you should do. And one more thing I want to tell her, JV.
Sure.
You're in a personal year of 5, Eva, this year, which means it's out of control. Does it feel like it's moving really fast?
Yes, it is moving fast.
Well, that's because cycle of 5 is a challenge to the 4, and my suggestion is to write everything down that you hope to accomplish. Otherwise, you won't get it done. It's like Monday you have this great idea, suddenly it's Friday and it didn't happen. But if you write it down and knock it off as you go, you can have some great things happen in this cycle of 5.
I've been doing 7 months of uploading books to the internet, and I have been busy.
Good, yeah, no dull moments, right?
No, I've taken about 4 days off and just goofed around. I'm going to start it tomorrow again.
Good.
I'm finishing up.
Eva, thank you so much for the phone call. We appreciate you listening and calling in. By the way, the number is 607-282-4497. We don't have time to take another call before our next break here. So I want to ask about the personal year. What does it mean?
Yeah.
What is a personal year?
That's important. What happens is you take your month and day and you reduce that to one digit, okay? So in your case, 625. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 5 is 13, 1 plus 3 is 4. And then you add it to the world number, 2019. When you break that down, 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 9, it becomes a 3. You add those two together, and it tells you the personal year that you're in. So, example, in your case, you're in a personal year of 7. We already know you're a 7 life path.
Right.
So what I would say is this is a year for you to do something you really want to do. And I don't know what that is, but you do. It's about you making a move for yourself. And it also means, even though you can be social, and here you are a radio guy. By the way, if you read my book and looked up the number 7, it would talk about radio as something you would enjoy. Because when you deal with too many people, JV, like energy right in front of you, that's difficult. That's not as easy, but you're really good at communication. And so this cycle of 7, spirituality. What's up with your spiritual side of your life when it comes to faith, let's say?
What's up with it?
Yeah, what do you have faith at this time in your life, or are you still seeking?
No, I have faith.
Okay, that is part of your life purpose. When you're a 7, they need to find a base of faith they can believe in. So I always say, I'll give you a great example of who's a double 7 who has no faith. 7s either thank God or think they're God. Vladimir Putin is a double 7. Do you think he thanks God?
Wow. Yeah, no, he's not thanking God.
But he's playing God, isn't he?
He's playing God for sure, yeah.
Yeah, big time. He's playing God throughout our world, deciding what should be and what should not be. So that's what I mean about energy. There's a positive and negative side to it. And when you study people, you can figure out which way are they living it.
And how much of this information can you use to determine health or, something more on the physical nature of a person?
Well, you can, and here's why. There are certain numbers, like the woman we talked to who was going to have surgery. There are certain numbers that internalize more than others. And I would say what we don't deal with mentally can attack us physically. So I help them get it out. Find a healthier way to have an outlet, whether it's a diary or doing therapy, whatever it is, because the more they keep it inside, that promotes illness. And so I have on my site, one of the CDs I offer is affirmations to heal your body. And I've had people have tremendous breakthroughs with that as well. I'm sure with your double 7, you know how much the mind has an impact on our physical body.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm all about that as well. That's in my books.
Okay, so we're going to go to break here in just a moment. We are still taking your phone calls. We do have full phone lines right now, so if you're having trouble getting through, you will just have to continue to try. The number is 607-282-4497, and we will certainly get to as many of these calls as we can in the next hour. Also, I'd like to mention that we've got some great shows coming up the next few nights. Tomorrow night, Daniel Friedman, he is a religion and mysticism researcher. We're going to be talking about the Bible from a scientific perspective. And then Wednesday night, Cindy McGill, who will be talking about your dreams. She's a dream interpreter, and she'll take your phone calls and talk about whatever you want to talk about. Maybe you've had a dream that's been haunting you or one that's been inspiring you. Cindy will tell you what they mean. And then Thursday night, Dr. Peter Langdon Ward will be with us. He's a geophysicist, and he'll be talking about his theory that volcanic eruptions and ozone depletion are the real culprit of global warming. So we've got a week long of great programs coming up for you here on Beyond Reality Radio. Like I said, more of your phone calls with our guest tonight, Glynis McCants, the Numbers Lady. Her website is numberslady.com. Just a couple quick reminders. One is tomorrow night, Daniel Friedman will be here to talk about religion and mysticism, and specifically taking a look at the Bible from a scientific perspective. That's on tomorrow night's program. Please swing by Facebook, give us a like there at Beyond Reality Radio and also JV Johnson, and stop by the YouTube page. Search for JV Johnson. There's a whole catalog of past episodes there of Beyond Reality Radio. Plus, if you don't get the show on a radio station near you, you can actually live stream the show on YouTube. Again, it's just JV Johnson on YouTube. Glynis, I kind of rushed through that because I'm anxious to get you back on here because we have a lot of phone calls and a lot of questions. And I need to ask you about your celebrity breakup record. You're pretty spot on when you look at a celebrity couple based on these numbers and determine whether they're going to make it or not.
Absolutely true. And what's great about it, because 1995 is when I first got on radio. and then I started doing television. So I have enough time to prove whether I'm accurate or not. And I've covered all the big stuff, like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. I was clear from the gate they would not be able to make that work as a couple, even when America was in love with them and thought, oh, they're going to be great. Not only did I know it would end, but I knew she'd be vindictive in the end and want to hurt him, and you saw that play out.
And you got that from the numbers.
I got that from the numbers. Yeah, I knew he was a life path 4. She's a life path 5. One of my thoughts for the 5 life path, they should wear a shirt that says anywhere but here. They never want to really be where they are. And if you think about Angelina, isn't she all over the world?
Yeah.
She's constantly somewhere else.
Right.
Well, a 4 likes to settle down. Like, he can travel, but he wants to have a home and a place he can call his own. And if you think back to when he was hands-on as a father, it was so clear how much he was there for those kids. So I saw that before it happened. Another one I did, Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth, I said that I thought they'd get married. And this one no one else did, because remember when she kind of flipped her wig a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She had a little breakdown?
Yep.
I said that he had such a grounding effect on her that if they came back together, they could go the distance. So I said that on the Daily Mail on December 4th, and they got secretly married December 23rd, the same month.
Wow.
So it's really exciting to be able to look at the numbers and say, okay, are they going to make it, or what's going on here, and watch it play out.
Can you, when you look at, we've talked about in that little answer, you talked about many very, very successful people, whether it's Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie or Miley Cyrus or any of, we've got a stable of people, whether they're Hollywood stars or rock and roll musicians, whatever it happens to be, that are very, very successful. Do their numbers have anything in common, or is it random?
That's what's kind of nice when people reach out to me and say, Glynis, can I be, let's say they want to be a rock star. I can look at numbers and see if they really have what it takes, meaning will they have that motivation? Like Mick Jagger is such a great example. He's a 5 life path. They are natural entertainers. And here this man's been through some sort of heart attack, yet he wants to be back out there again, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's his numerology.
Wow.
So when I look at someone's chart, if I find numbers like the 5, the 1, these performance numbers, then I endorse it. But here's what they have to watch out for. The shadow side of those numbers is escaping through drugs, alcohol, work, and all of that. Right. So they have to, pay attention. Like, I would bring it to their attention and say, that doesn't work for you. Like, even in your case, JV, I don't know if you ever have a drink on occasion or anything, but I'm going to tell you, when 1, 5, and 7 try to drink or anything like that, they're just trying to stop thinking so much. They're trying to relax their brain. So I just teach them what's another way, right? Yoga, meditation. Heck, you could jump out of a plane, get that adrenaline rush, but you can't do it through drugs. They never work, ever. And that's part of what you see in some of these celebrities by the numbers.
Right. Okay, let's jump back to our phone lines. This is Susan in Kansas City, Missouri. Hi, Susan. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Hello.
What's your birth date?
1/20/1951.
And your first name was Susan?
Yes, ma'am. S-U-S-A-N.
Hi, Susan. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Now, you have a fun number combination. You were born on a 2-day, you have a 3 attitude, and your life path number is a 1. When you have 1, 2, 3, that tells me that you believe in magic. Like, when life gets difficult, there's still a part of you that's optimistic that it can get better. How true has that been for you in your life?
Pretty true.
Yeah, that's where it's coming from. So I teach people who have 1, 2, 3, when they wake up, the first thing you say before you get out of that bed, my life is as easy as 1, 2, 3. You just talk to the universe about those numbers. 1 points to ambition and drive. 2 points to the ability to love deeply and care about people. And then 3 is your attitude, which is laughter. It's playful and natural counselor. Susan, when someone's in trouble, isn't it easy for you to give advice?
Yes.
Yeah, well, how frustrated do you get when they don't take it and you watch them make the mistake you were worried they were going to make?
Very, very frustrated.
That's numbers. That's what I'm seeing in you. So do you have a specific question?
Actually, I don't know if it'll show in the numbers or not. I have a grandson that's in a lot of trouble.
Okay, so give me that date of birth.
He won't take advice. So
what's his date of birth?
Anything there that would show if there's anything in the future might get better.
Susan, what's his date of birth?
Oh, God. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me tell you how this works. the tools are the birthday. Like we could get his first name, but it's that full date of birth that would tell me what I could see. Susan, he might be a challenge to you in numerology, and what that means is it promotes a breakdown in communication, but it also could just be his numerology. He could be someone who doesn't want to hear anybody and is enjoying that drama, but I'd still need to see it. So you have permission to shoot me an email when you get that birthday. Just say, hi, it's Susan. Put your birthday, tell me his, and I'll shoot an email back, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the call, Susan. Glynis, I think you referred to these as kind of fast food readings because we're just doing quick, down and dirty here. If somebody wanted a full reading, the full-blown treatment, how would they do that with you?
Well, I do live numerology sessions. I do them on the phone. I'm also got this workshop. If anyone in California is listening, we do live numerology workshops in Burbank on July 20th. And I'm also doing in-person reads on the 21st. So what that entails is we sit down for 45 minutes, and I walk through your life. I record the session so you can refer back to what was said. And it is amazing. I mean, for me, it's like looking at your diary. I always say if I have all your information, like the name, the date of birth, you can run, but you can't hide. I'm going to see the whole thing. And it's so healing, JV, because let's say you're in a bad relationship. When I walk through it and explain exactly what the dynamic is, you feel better. You're like, wow, I'm not the devil here. Even though he's angry with me, it's numbers. It's not personal. We're just toxic in numerology.
Let's go to Mike calling from Las Vegas. Hey, Mike, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Mike,
how you doing?
Great. What's your birthday, Mike?
Yeah.
What's your birthday?
9/21/60.
9/21/1960? Okay. So 3341. All right. Since you were born on a 3-day and you have a 3 attitude and ultimately you're a 1, the first thing I'd cover is the 1 life path. 1s are supposed to find a way to be the best of what they do. So what are you picking, Mike? What's your career?
Well, right now I don't have anything.
That's not good, kid. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. If a 1's not doing something with their life, they are miserable. That number is based in movement. When they've got new ideas and plans happening, that's when they're happy. And then you have double 3. So I have to ask, is creativity a part of your story? Do you have any creative talent?
I can do a lot of things that other people can't do, but not creativity, no.
Well, tell me what you mean when you say that. What can you do that other people can't do?
For example, if somebody's trying to load a truck, a U-Haul, they put it in there. They only get half the stuff in. I can pull everything out and load it up and get everything in.
Okay. All right. So what have you been able to do with your natural gift? Like when you say you're not working now, what was that last job?
Semiconductor, but that was a mess up because we got sued by a competitor, and that messed everything up. Otherwise, we would have been good.
Okay. So, Mike, here's what I'm going to suggest. Since you're in a personal year of 6 means when you have to get back into the driver's seat of your life. So you have to decide. You can't sit here in this pain that you've gone through. Like this must be such a strange time in your life. Last year, that made sense. Was it last year that it happened or this year?
No, it happened a few years ago.
Okay, but you've not been able to get your footing, right? You haven't gotten back on track.
Correct.
Okay, so I invite you to do this. You're going to go to numberslady.com and look up it's called The Power of 8. And 8 just represents financial security, but I put an affirmation there. It's to encourage you to get work. If you start doing it daily, it's something you do for 15 minutes, you can flip this around, Mike, because you cannot sit here with 331 doing nothing with your life. It's not healthy.
Yeah, I've got things going on the pipe. They're starting, but they're just starting to get going.
And now you're going to start doing that affirmation to speed it up. That's what I'm telling you. Okay. It works.
My wife was born on 3/28/66. What's the compatibility on that?
1 second. 4, 5, 8. Well, I say this with love, Mike, but you do have challenges there. It's not always easy going there. There can be some breakdowns in communication because she's ultimately an 8 life path to your 1, and that just means when you don't agree, you don't have to wonder about it. It's obvious. Now, is she working, by the way?
No, she's not.
Okay, so both of you aren't working. How many years together?
27.
Okay, so she's born on a 1 day. That's the part of you that's the same. When you both have a 1 in your chart, it's like, okay, we got to find a way to be a partnership. We have to work together, okay? Her attitude number 4 is direct. So doesn't she always tell you what she feels?
No, she's pretty much stubborn. Yeah, I guess.
Stubborn means nothing to me except that if someone's stubborn, they're still letting you know what they think, right? She feels like there's no compromise perhaps with you. But what I would tell you, JV, if you ask me, okay, just with the stuff I can see here, this is a couple that needs to understand their differences so they can start winning together.
Right.
Because when your numbers are a challenge, JV, you can feel alone. You can be in a marriage and still feel like you're by yourself. And I want these two to find a way to go, no, we're in this together. How do we get back out of this? How do we get happy? That's what I see.
Yeah, thanks for your phone call, Mike. How do you do this so quickly? I mean, you're adding numbers up before I can even recognize what numbers were just said.
Well, you're exactly true. I mean, ask anyone in my life that whoa, McCants. But my brain does it. Like as quickly as I get that birthday, I'm breaking down numbers to see what's going on.
We're talking with Glynis McCants tonight. Glynis, do you do like public appearances?
Yes. Like I said, the Amarano Hotel in Burbank.
Right.
I'm doing a class, and I also do events. If someone has a party, corporate events, and also radio and TV.
And if anyone was interested in either attending or contacting you about one of those events, that's all through the website?
Yes. There's a toll-free number that's, let's see if I have that here. It's 1-877-686-2373. 1-877-686-2373. They could give a call and get all that information as well, and then visiting the website. And I just did something after listening to Rick, JV.
Yep.
I decided to put a promo code up for just the reports that tell you about yourself or your relationship, because you heard what he said about his wife.
Yeah.
He said she's stubborn.
Yes.
Well, what does that really mean? What it really means is we have breakdowns in communication.
Right.
We end up not agreeing, and then she's stubborn. But what I want to do is fix it. So if they knew their differences, they'd have a new way to communicate, which could actually help heal that relationship.
And you said there's a promo code?
Yeah, the promo code is, I kept it simple, Beyond. I just started it with just Beyond. That's your promo code for your audience.
All right. Let's go to Paul in North Carolina. Hey, Paul, welcome to the program.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for taking my call.
What's your birth date, Paul?
March 19, 1944. Just a general reading would be fine.
Okay, good. All right, so, Paul, you're born on a 1 day, and you're a 4 life path. So there's many things that 4s end up doing, but I have to say one of the things it is the natural builder. Like a lot of people get in construction or real estate, all of that field is something they enjoy, but also engineer. And I have to ask you, Paul, when it comes to channels that you like to watch, do you ever find yourself at the History Channel or any of those channels that you're learning from? I'm curious.
I like to go on YouTube, stuff that can help you learn stuff.
Right, because here's the reason I asked. When you're a 4 life path, you are obsessed with learning something you do not know. Every time you have an aha moment, it makes you happy. It's like water in the desert. It's so important that you keep educating your mind, coming up with new stuff. And then when you're born on a 1 day, since the 1 and the 4 are a challenge in numerology, I would say a lot of good ideas live and die in your head. How true is that?
Agree with you.
Yeah, we got to fix that one.
Right.
Paul, because you know what I tell the 4? I'm like, put on your Nikes and just do it. Take a chance, because if you do, you won't be sorry. It's when it's all stuck in your head that you become a little unhappy. It's like, gosh darn it, I've got these good ideas, but I don't want to fail. That's what I'm getting at. The more you educate yourself, the less you're going to feel that way. And then cycle-wise, you and JB have something in common. You're in a personal year of 7 this year. And so what that means is you're stepping back. Like you might have people in your life that you normally deal with. Right now you're kind of observing these people. You're supposed to look at them and decide who belongs in my life and who does not.
Yes.
Have you felt that this year?
Oh, yeah.
See, but that's nice, isn't it? Like, JV, here's what I say. Those of us that are really social, when we enter a cycle of 7, it's really a great time to just stop. take a look. Who should be here? You know, do I have friendships where they just take advantage of me, or is it reciprocal?
Right.
Am I in a relationship? Maybe it's time to take it to another level, or should I let it go? The personal year of 7 helps you see things more clearly. And, Paul, that's the cycle you're in right now, so definitely take advantage of that.
Glynis, I don't know. I'm going to try to ask this question intelligently, and if I fail, forgive me.
Okay.
Are we born on a day that reflects these traits that we're talking about, or does the day the day that we're born on determine those traits?
Well, here's the belief is that when we're born, it's like music. There's a tone that comes through with you. Okay, it's a sound. And that's why when you meet someone who's compatible or naturally matched you, it's like beautiful music. It feels nice. You have a conversation, it has a good flow, and you feel good. If energy comes through that's toxic, which, by the way, there's just certain numbers that are challenged by each other, it's a two-way street. You may not enjoy their energy, but they're going to have trouble with yours as well. But I believe we're born with that, and it's the message that comes with it.
All right, let's see if we can get to some more of these calls here.
I love that question, Davey, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it during the break. You know, which one determines the other? It's very interesting.
Well, I'll tell you one example that kind of proves your point the other way. When people are adopted and they don't know their birthday, I have found they start to take on the traits of the birthday they celebrate.
Oh, wow.
So there's something to that as well.
Interesting.
You don't know your numbers.
All right, let's go to Jada. Jada's in Manchester, Tennessee, a good friend of the chat room. Hey, Jada, welcome to the program.
Hey.
What's your birthday, Jada?
It's 12/16/76.
Okay, 7, 1, 2, 4, 6. Okay. So when I see Jada, it looks like you're born on a 7 day, but you're ultimately a 6 life path. And if that is correct, 7/6 means confused and not sure. So when you make a big decision, you're like, gosh darn it, that's how I feel. And then you walk away going, oh no, was that the way to go? Like your mind wants to overthink it. How often do you process in your head once you've made that decision?
A lot, all the time.
Right? And so what I tell to the people who have 7/6, I'm like, you know what? Just tell your mind, thank you very much. I've already made that choice, and I'm moving on. Because living in that indecision and grappling with it, it's really wasting your time and will cause a lot of frustration. You have a 1 attitude, Jada, which tells me when you think you're right, you do not give up your position. So I feel sorry for the person who wastes their time in debate with you. Like if I counseled someone who's with you, I said, just give it up. If this was what would throw you off track, Jada, if that person who's debating you suddenly went, you know what? You're right, or I didn't even think about that. You would be like, what? You'd be happy, honey. You would welcome that.
True.
Yes, and the other thing about a 6 life path, JV, with Jada's personality, they're very responsible. It's like you tell them, hey, here's what I need you to do. They get it done. What frustrates you, Jada, is when people don't do their fair share, when you end up doing everyone's job and your own.
That's very true.
Yeah, and the thing you need to learn to say, because when I said a 6 life path is someone who is good at managing a mess, like damage control, when it's quiet, instead of panicking, going, uh-oh, what don't I know? Say out loud, it's going good and I deserve it. Just put it out there. It's going good and I deserve it, because you're so used to damage control. It's hard to relax for you in that way.
Jada, thank you for your phone call, and thank you for listening. Do numbers that kind of surround us have an effect on us, like something like our phone number or our home address? Does any of that affect us?
Yes, we are very affected by numbers, but mostly when it follows you around. Like if you see, do you have a number pattern that you see, JV? What do you end up
Well, you know, the funny thing is that 1111 is a very common one for people to see often, and I see that all the time. There's that one, and then there's 1012, both of those numbers.
So you see 1012 also?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I would say about that. If you see 1111, usually that'll go away. Like you might not see it for months, and all of a sudden it's in your face. Like you just keep seeing it. Right. It means the universe is wide open to what it is you want. Like you were supposed to take advantage of 1111. I see it as doorways of opportunity. So I will stop. If I see it, I stop what I'm doing, and I spend a minute meditating on what I want, whatever that may be. Like in my case, it was refinancing the house. I kept saying, I want to refinance the house, that I find good people, that this happens. Well, it just happened for me.
Oh, wow.
So it's about focusing on what you want. I've had couples do it. I had a guy who had a bad breakup, but he really wanted her back. I said, don't talk to her. Just do 11:11. Take the 11:11 a.m., 11:11 p.m., and just focus on healing the relationship, that she realizes we do belong together, and that she comes back. And she did. So that's what you do with it, JV. If it looks at you like it wants you to see it, start asking for what it is you want.
Let's go to Deidre in Rochester, another great friend in our chat room. Hey, Deidre.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. What's your birth date?
January 31st, 1967.
5641. Okay, now, Deidre, do you and Jada ever end up chatting? The gal that we talked to right before?
In the chat room, we chat together.
In the chat room?
Yeah. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm asking because you have something in common. You both share the one, but you also have the energy that when you're very opinionated, is the first thing I want to say, Deidre. I mean, you know what you think. And when you're born on a 4-day, you'll call someone out. You know, your deal breaker is a liar. If someone is dishonest, oh my, better to just say, get lost. I got no time for you. And then you have a 5 attitude, which means even if you wanted your life to be smooth sailing, there's always a drama. There's always something that comes up. And you are a natural detective. If you want to know the truth, you'll find out what really happened. How true has that been for you?
Yep, that is exactly right.
Yeah, and so again, if someone's trying to deceive you, if I was counseling someone in your life, I'd say, don't waste your time. She's going to bust you. Just come clean. Tell her what happened. And also, because you're a one life path, what I say about that, JV, they've got to find a way where they feel like they're winning. So if they're in charge of what they do, that's when they're happiest, but also physical activity. Do you get your exercise in, Deidre?
I have severe rheumatoid arthritis, so it's difficult.
Right, but let me ask you, could you end up getting like one of those recumbent bikes, you know, where it's like, you know, you're not dealing with weight, not the impact, but it's just a gentle move? I'm suggesting you've got to do something that's movement. You will feel 150% better. And also, what about water? Aren't you allowed to swim when you have that?
Yeah, but being in New York, there isn't.
Right, so I'm still going to suggest that bike, because I'm telling you that when you're a one life path and you find a way to just move your body, it clears your mind. It helps you relax and feel better. So that's my suggestion to you.
Great.
Thanks for the call,
right.
Deidre. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Yes. And by the way, you share a birthday with my sister just a year off. That's pretty cool. Let's go to Angela. Angela is also in Kansas City. Hey, Angela, welcome to the program.
I'm delighted to talk to you and Glynis.
What is your birth date?
11/19/1963.
Did you say 6'3" or 5'3"?
6'3". Sorry, I'm losing my voice. 6'3".
63. Gotcha. Okay, so I got a 314. All right. What also happens, JV, when I do radio is, of course, I'm going to look for patterns. But Deidre was born on a 4-day. She's a one life path. Angela was born on a 1-day. She's a 4 life path. Do you see what I mean? That energy just followed itself.
Wow.
Okay, so Angela, what I'm going to say about you, what saves you, dear, is your sense of humor. If you couldn't find a way to laugh, you would be miserable. And that's because you're ultimately a 4, which is the strong A plus B must equal C. You know, I want to get things done. I need structure. And sometimes people disappoint you. So if you find ways to just get goofy and go, it can't be this serious, that's when you're happy. And that's your 3 attitudes. So you should have a good sense of humor. Would you say you do?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and do people count on you? Now, the fact that you've lost your voice, I got to tell you what that ultimately can mean. If our voice gets messed with, you got to look around you. Swallowed anger can also cause our voice to go away. If someone's annoying you or you're frustrated or you feel like you're not being heard, it'll mess with your voice. Is there anyone in your life that does that to you?
Yes.
Well, Grasshopper, track me down. I will make sure you never lose your voice again. That's what I help people do. It's like, how do we spot what the problem is, and then how do we overcome it? Because you do not want to lose your voice because you're stifling what you feel because you're not being heard.
Yeah, no, I'm the girl that'll walk around the block to avoid a confrontation. So.
That's right. But what you're doing is internalizing. So it's simple. You'll shoot me an email, and I'll just give you an affirmation to counteract voice. Because you want your voice back. You don't want it to mess with your vocal cords, no matter what frustrations are happening in your life right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Angela,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the call, Angela. Thank you for listening in Kansas City. Let's squeeze in. Let's see. This is Greg in Lafayette, Colorado. Hi, Greg. Welcome to the program.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
What's your birth date, Greg?
10/7/1953.
Okay, so born on a 7-day, 8. Looks like you're a double 8. Well, the first thing I'd ask you, Greg, tell me about the financial side of your life. How has it been?
It's okay.
Okay. The 8 is the one that needs to find a way to establish financial security. Like they've got to. And it's not uncommon, by the way, that they get actually be a workaholic. So I have to ask, what work did you pick?
I was a lineman at an airport.
Wow, okay. So did you manage to save and do the security stuff for yourself?
Yeah, I did okay.
Well, that's the 8, so I'm telling you, that's important. And then born on a 7, have you been able to do any of the traveling stuff that you need to do? That's coming from your 7. Like when you can go out there and take a trip, just like JV at the beginning of the show when he said he's going to go off on a motorcycle and do his thing, I got excited because that would be something a 7 could enjoy, getting out of their regular space. How about you? Do you ever get out of town?
Not as much as I would like. I don't have,
okay, so I'm suggesting that when you have a 7 in your birth numbers, you should make it mandatory, that you find a way to get out. Otherwise, you get stuck, and it's not healthy for you. You happen to be in a personal year of 2. Are you dating or single? What's your story that way, Greg?
I have a lady friend.
Do you want to look at those numbers?
Yes.
What's the birthday, real quick?
It would be August 11th, 55.
Okay, 1955, born on a 2-day, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the first thing I'd say, she has to be attractive. And what's her first name?
Patricia.
Okay, the reason I say she must be attractive, 8's like it when it's pretty. You have to have someone you're proud to be with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, how long have you been with her?
13 years.
Okay, a long time. And then she's ultimately a 3, so it should not be a problem to get her opinion. Like, she should always speak up and tell you what she's thinking. Doesn't she do that? That's her 3.
Very much so.
Yeah, so of the 2, she's the one who kind of pulls you out. Like, when you internalize or you're just being quiet, she's the one who wants to make sure you guys are being social and doing something. That's coming from her 3 life path. And what work does she do, Greg?
She works for the Forest Department in administration.
Okay, but is she on the phone for that job as well?
Quite a bit.
Okay, so here's the thing. The 3 is also known for their voice, so she should have a nice sound. Would you say that's true when you hear her voice?
Yes.
Okay, and they're also known for their eyes and their smile. When she's in a good mood, she lights up a room.
Indeed.
Well, there you go. So that's their numbers, JV. And that's just, as you already know, this is just the 3 numbers from their birthday. Right. It's not the full chart. But with the promo code, they can get their chart done.
Let's squeeze one more in here. We've got two minutes for Barry in North Carolina, also a very good friend of the program. Hey, Barry.
Hello there, Jenny. How you doing? I'll speak quickly because I know you're in a hurry. Glynis, what a pleasure it is to talk to you again. Last time was Coast to Coast with George Norrie.
Right. So, Barry, you know how to get through the phone lines. What's your full date of birth?
Listen, my birthday is 12/5/42.
Okay. And do you have a specific question?
Not really. I just wanted to hear what your reading was for that birthday.
All right. So let me ask you. The first thing I'd ask, because you're born on a 5-day, which is this independent energy, doesn't want to be controlled by anyone, but behind it is your 6. So did you end up having kids and getting married or not, Barry?
I've been married twice, second time to a wonderful woman, but no kids ever.
Right. So note that I asked that question because it's not going to break your heart. Meaning, if you have a 5, you fill up your life and you stay busy, but you're also a nurturer, Barry. So you nurture the people in your life. Aren't there a lot of people you kind of take care of and make sure they're all right?
Oh my gosh, you're right, spot on.
Yeah, well, that's your 6th life path. It's like, so it's not even about, you didn't have to have your own kids as much as you are kind of a father to many. It's like rescuing people. If someone's in trouble, you step right up. It's like, what's the problem? Let's fix it. And then you have an 8 attitude. That tells me that you can be direct. You know, if someone takes it wrong, you do find a way to lighten it back up. But you will not put up with people who only take. Okay, Barry, that's the lesson learned. You're such a natural giver. You need to find people who can reciprocate that.
That is so right on, Glynis. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, Barry.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling.
Barry, thank you so much. We always love hearing from you. Glynis, we have about a minute here. You've got 2 books. Glynis Has Your Number and Love by the Numbers. If someone, I imagine the Love by the Numbers is more relationship-oriented, but which of the 2 would you recommend somebody read first?
Well, I always say these are standalone books. So I find when someone gets one book, they end up getting both later. I would suggest Glynis Has Your Number. It's a good beginning. It's the buffet, because you can look at, like, when you move somewhere or name your kid or looking at career. It covers everything. So it's a really good book to get started, to learn all about the numbers in your life.
And once again, for promo codes that you've been mentioning tonight, how would people take advantage of that?
Well, what I did for the individual read, which tells you about yourself, or the soulmate breakdown that tells you about you and your partner, they type BEYOND. Your audience can type BEYOND, and they will get a special discount in the promo code for those numerology reports on my website.
So they just go to the website and go through that process and type BEYOND. Great. And and once again, you've got a seminar coming up?
Yes, I do. I'm going to be teaching a numerology workshop. It's going to be in Burbank on July 20th, Saturday. And those tickets are available on the website, but they can also call toll-free 1-877-686-2373 to get more information, and we'll help them on the phone.
Glynis, thank you so much for coming back on the program. It's always a treat to have you here.
JV, happy birthday.
Thank you very much. So I just have to say, I was a Queen fan before it became popular, just so you know. I mean, like everybody's a Queen fan since Bohemian Rhapsody came out, the film. But I actually really liked Queen in high school.
Spoken like a true hipster.
And you know what? The other thing is I watched a documentary on Netflix about Sam Jones. You know who Sam Jones is?
Nope.
Sam J. Jones. He's the guy that played Flash Gordon in the 1980 Flash.
Queen did the soundtrack.
Flash. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great. It was a great documentary, and I've actually seen Sam Jones at some of these events, and he had a lot of struggles after that, making that film. That was his debut as an actor, and he never really could recover from that success. And he did a whole bunch of things, but now he's kind of found a new group of fans, a new generation of fans, and he's doing really well at comic conventions and horror conventions and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Well, good for him.
I recommend that if anybody's got an hour and a half to do nothing, watch it. It's called Life After Flash. Yeah. All right, so that's going to do it for tonight. Again, thank you so much to Glynis McCants for joining us. Love it when she's on the program. We'll catch you tomorrow night.
Beyond Reality Radio is hosted by Jason Hawes and JV Johnson and produced by Alexandria Johnson and Slick Eddie Edwards for Entercom Radio. Beyond Reality Radio is distributed by Westwood One Radio Networks. Stop by our Facebook page and say hello. Follow the hosts on Facebook as well. For Jason Hawes, follow at jasonhawes.taps. For JV Johnson, follow at JVJ Paranormal. If you'd like to be a guest on Beyond Reality Radio or you have a suggestion for a guest, contact Slick Eddie Edwards at slickeddieedwards@gmail.com. Be sure to visit our chat room as well at beyondrealityradio.com. Thanks for listening.